sides of the branch until the bark bristled out like a skinny, gray-green porcupine. "Instant kindling," he said. "Great. Is there an instant traveling stick, too, so I can go back home?" "You never know out here," he said. When he had his learning face on, Hannah knew it was hard to get him to do anything but talk about the bush. "I'm cold and it's lunchtime," she said. "Okay." He stood and brushed the snow off his coat, turning his head to the line of clouds that were being pulled toward them by gray, pouting tendrils. "Smells like another storm, eh?" Hannah let her breath out loudly, but didn't reply. They trooped back. The last 2 days had been warm and humid, but last night the temperature had dropped so quickly that the wet snow had chunked back into ice and broken through many of their tarps, and even Nook's doghouse. Hannah and Kelly had spent all morning scraping ice and snow off the porch, the woodshed, the cars, the doghouses, and the outhouse steps to see what damage had been done. The snowmobile tarp was also ripped, and a chunk of falling ice had broken the gas line. Fixing it was tomorrow's job. Hannah had volunteered for that one, mostly because it meant she could drive into town with her father to go to the hardware store. They removed their snowshoes and propped them against the dog sled in the cold porch that separated the front door of the house from the elements. There were 2 more dog sleds behind the cabin as well. The one on the porch was very small and was called a kick sled. The 2 behind the cabin were trail sleds, much longer and heavier. Hannah's dad put the green kindling in the big wood box just outside the door. The box slid from the cold outer porch to the inside of the cabin, right through the wall. The opening was protected by a thick piece of yellow plastic that swung inward, like a doggy door. When they went inside, Hannah slapped a sodden, wood-chip-covered glove onto the counter that separated the kitchen area from the rest of the main room and stooped to undo the laces of her boots. From the doorway to the bedroom she shared with her sister came Kelly's voice. "Illegal maneuver! Illegal maneuver!" "Calm down, dork," said Hannah. "It's just a glove." "Unacceptable use of outdoor clothing." Kelly ran in, snatched the glove off the counter, clambered up a folding stepladder, and placed it neatly on the glove dryer that hung above the big pot-belly wood stove in the center of the cabin. "Kelly," said their mother, "calm down. George," she continued, "put some wood in the stove, please." Hannah's dad took 2 pieces of maple from the wood box, opened the belly of the wood stove, and put them in. Kelly's exuberance had woken Sencha and Bogey from their napping spot by the couch, and the 2 house dogs ran over to greet Hannah and her father as though they had been gone for years. They kept a respectful distance from the hot cast-iron stove. The 2 dogs were as opposite as could be. Sencha was a Dalmatian, but she had brown spots instead of black ones, and she shed on everything. Pretty little white hairs that somehow corkscrewed into anything that wasn't Teflon-coated. Her ears sat high on her head, and she watched everything with bright hazel eyes, investigating every sound or movement, no matter how small, with her gaze or with her nose, depending on how comfortable she was. Hannah's mom called her Little Jane Austen. Bogey, on the other hand, was square and big and had 2 coats of thick fur, an oily outer layer of beautiful dark brown, and a dry underlay of rust-colored kinks that kept him warm even when he jumped into the cold pond to chase tennis balls or ducks, or just because he was a Labrador retriever and needed to remind everyone of that fact. "Bogey, get down," said Hannah, pushing him away. The big dog dropped back to the floor, his tail still wagging. Hannah's dad gave him some rough pats on his flanks, and the lab nearly toppled him over, pressing into his legs like a cat. Sencha went back to her warm bed near the stove, lying down with an assortment of grumbles. Kelly, still near the gloves, looked suspiciously at the bottoms of her sister's legs. "Are your pants wet? You should go change." "You should shut up," retorted Hannah. "The floor's already wet from lab slobber." "Hannah," said her mother from the kitchen, "respect your sister." Kelly, safely behind the wood stove and out of sight of her mother, stuck her tongue out at Hannah. "Let's eat," said her father, pulling out